the IT career was almost accidental. So, you know, my educational background, where my passion lies, all that experience of knowing what manipulation looks like, that does absolutely enter into the effectiveness of what we do today.
Something that you had mentioned, you know, in this segment of the interview, you mentioned how the fact that you're married is an obstacle to people thinking that you're credible as a dating coach.
Right.
Usually the image that people have in their minds of a dating coach is someone who is still dating, not necessarily someone who's married. And how do you deal with that particular obstacle when people say, well, what can you teach me about dating? You're married, and I think that there's a negative association of a married man giving dating advice. How do you handle that?
Well, first of all, I haven't stopped dating. You know, if I stop dating, my wife is going to be upset.
Are you saying you date people outside your marriage, or are you saying...
Oh, no. We date each other. We do come from a perspective of monogamy. That's what's right for us. But we still do date. And I still, you know, one of the things that always kind of interests me is people will unsubscribe from my newsletter, and they'll say, I found this great woman, I don't need your newsletter anymore. Thank you for all your help, you've changed my life. And I feel like reaching through the computer monitor and going, no, keep subscribed, because now you're really going to need what we're talking about, because we talk a lot about relationship management and continuing to deserve what you want. And it's kind of immaterial whether you're dating or whether you're married. I've got married guys who buy Virtuosity, multiple, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like we've got a lot of women on the list for guys, because they want to know what it means to be a great man so they can start looking for Mr. Right, because that's what I'm teaching guys how to be. I think the whole concept of being married, is there's this thing in the seduction community which says, well, if you're married, then the girl got what she wanted, and you cut your balls off, and you're just going to be used for the rest of your life. Well, that's very true if you're a sex-focused guy who sees women as a means for sexual fulfillment only, and all of a sudden you've been tied down by one and you can't experience sexual variety anymore. Then I would fully agree with that sentiment. But see, I believe that there's a lot more life has to offer than just quote-unquote getting the lay, you know. And that's controversial to some guys because it's so very different than what's being taught, because, you know, it doesn't work well for marketing. Two hot buttons for marketing are lust and quick fix. And even guys who say, I really just want a great girlfriend and some stability in my life, will end up falling for that marketing. The reality, though, is a lot of guys are saying, well, wait a minute, I really do want one great woman. I want to have a history. I don't want this drama in my life. I want someone I can trust. I want to go on trips with her. I want to come home and share those memories. I want her to be there for me when I come home from work and hand me a beer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to have someone I can relate to, someone who I know what's going on under there. I want to know I'm going to be able to have sex whenever I want to have sex. I mean, he's, wearing the pants in the relationship. And here's one. I want a kid. I want a family. I want a legacy. Recently I saw a dating guru who claims that he's got a study that says the number one things guys regret on their deathbed is that they didn't have enough sex with women. I would challenge that assumption. I don't think guys lay on their deathbed and go, wow, I just didn't get laid enough. I think they go, I didn't accomplish my life purpose. I didn't do enough to care about the people who mattered the most. I think guys are going to have more depth than that. Yeah, is sex important? Of course it is. But you got to understand, if you're starving for sex, that's all you can think about. It's a Maslow's hierarchy thing. Once you understand that you can have sex, you start thinking, okay, well, I could have sex with all kinds of pretty women. What's under the hood? What more does a woman have to offer me than just the sexuality? Yes, she's beautiful. Yes, she's sexy. Yes, she'll do amazing acrobatics in bed. But I want more. And so that thought process that the seduction community proffers, which is, oh, no, getting married is a capitulation and a sign of non-manhood. I would say the ultimate representation of giving one's power away to a woman is to say that a woman's sexuality is a prize and mine is something just to be handed out freely. because then the woman truly is in charge. When you're a man who says, look, I'm someone who has to be earned, and I want a woman who I deserve, and I will not settle until I get the very best. And you date women, and you know exactly what you want, and you're making your own decision, and you have options, and you have power over who you're dating. You're the one putting women in the just be friend zone when they're not measuring up. Then, when you've had that experience, and you decide, look, okay, I've dated enough of the drama, enough of the revolving door, if you will. I've had sex enough here with enough different women. I've gotten just about every type of woman I can dream of, if that was your cup of tea. You no longer are going to be having your nose pressed against the window, looking at the greener grass outside, having met this woman who's in front of you right now. The woman walks through the door, you go, that's what I've decided I want. And you test it out. And you say, okay, I've got 16 women on my Rolodex, or pick a number, right? Some guys, I think between 4 and 6 is pretty much the sweet spot for most guys. But I don't care if it's 50. You say, I got 50 women who I can call tonight, all of whom would be thrilled to go out with me, but I don't want to see them anymore. I want every night to pick this one because she's outshining the others, and I couldn't have designed this woman any better, if I'd sent a purchase order to God himself, right? That's when you have absolute, utter control over your dating life. You are making your own decisions, and you're making all your decisions for the right reason. But yeah, if you're getting married because you feel like you're going to lose her if you don't get married, or you're never going to get another woman who likes you, or she's the only hot woman you've ever had like you back, then you're setting yourself up to be peewits is what you're doing. And that is the difference between what we teach and what I think is a very prevalent, not ubiquitous, but a very prevalent thought process in the seduction community, that marriage is something to be ashamed of. See, I've got a son, and I've got the greatest woman I've ever met. And that's what I wanted, and that was what I got, because I deserved it that way. Does that follow logically?
That's fantastic.
Right, so if there's other guys out there who want that, then they can go and they can date multiple women now. They can even live a PUA lifestyle now, but they have to be setting themselves up to have a long view of what it is they really want. And I don't think every guy should necessarily be married. I think if you want to date multiple women for the rest of your life, that's your choice. But as long as it's what you wanted, not something that you felt socially pressured to by the seduction community, it's the right choice. But I'm all about guys being empowered. And just a little aside. When you have respect for women and you understand how to brighten a woman's day, today, I'm married, okay, to the greatest woman I've ever met. I demonstrated infield approach to a client in person today. And he said to me, my God, I wish I had all this on video because you have more game than anybody I've ever met. And I did not flirt with a single woman. I did not express sexual interest in a single woman, but I had a whole table full of women hanging on our every word, this guy and I. Right? We basically winged for each other.
Uh-huh.
Because I was interested in their input on